everyone, welcome to another repair video. So in this video today we're going to be looking at this beautifully white Xbox One. This is the first time I've actually seen one of these in person. I don't very often get to see different colours in these, but this is a console that I purchased for £40 yesterday, and it apparently doesn't read discs. So I purchased it for £40 as faulty, and it came with the original power brick, which was great. The person I bought it from didn't want to sell the power brick, and I just told him, look, I'm not going to buy it without. I need the power brick. I don't mind any other cables, but I need the power brick because these cost £35 on their own. So I sold it with the power brick, and I've already taken a look at this, and I've already reinstalled the system software, because you know I did that off video. There's no need to do it on video. And I thought I'd do a video on repairing the disk drive, because why not? So let's turn it on, as we always do. I know this works as an actual console. I know it actually recognises the disk drive, but it's just not taking discs in, and it's not reading the discs when it does eventually take them in. So yeah, let's get the disk drive repaired. But first of all, I'm going to show you it actually working. So I'll take a HDMI lead, and you can see that it is actually booting up to the dashboard. So that'll boot up in a second. It's already got my profile on it because I installed it yesterday. I logged into my own profile yesterday just so as I could test it. But obviously I decided yesterday that I wasn't going to do a video on it because it's a simple fix. But then I thought, well, I haven't actually got one repairing a disk drive, so you know, I may as well do it, get some more content out there, and keep consistent with the uploads. So you can see that it's working absolutely fine as a console. But if we take a Xbox One disc, you'll see it's struggling to take the disc in. So that's going to be something to do with the mechanism. And even if we push it in, it's not going to take the disc. It doesn't even eject it properly. So there you go. So that's that. But then if we do that, it will go in. But now the disc is stuck. Okay, so obviously we need to sort this out before I can resell this console. I'll just put that to one side and just unplug the actual console. Let's move those leads out of the way, and let's start taking this apart, shall we? So the good news is this has never been messed with. The warranty sticker is fully intact, which is great news. And this is a lovely console. I'm in two minds whether to actually sell this or not, but you know, I've got to make my money back on it, so I've probably got to sell it. And we can also do a service on this while we're at it, while it's being taken apart. Simple reason being, there's quite a lot of dust around here, so there's probably going to be a lot of dust inside the actual console. Oh yeah, quite a lot of dust there, isn't there? Right, okay, so a brief intermission there. I had a phone call from a customer. I received an Xbox One X this morning for repair, and it was supposed to have no power. The customer hasn't used it for around about 2 months. I've got it here. It didn't turn on the first twice, and then all of a sudden it's just turned on. So, and now it's still on now. It's literally right next to me, switched on. So yeah, the customer's obviously gutted but happy at the same time, which is a kind of weird mixed emotion. Right, so let's break into this. There we go. Okay, so let's disconnect this ribbon. There we go. So we'll pop the case to one side, and we'll give the underneath of that case a clean later on. But for now, let's just take the screwdriver, and we're going to take a T10 bit to start with to take out these chassis screws. So let's take a T8 and just pop these screws out of here. Let's lift off that Wi-Fi module, take off the antenna and speaker, and while we've got the T8 in, we may as well pop out these 4 screws to the power connector. I'm going to give this a deep clean, just because when I do sell it I don't want it to come back a week later for overheating. So I'll give it a deep clean once I've fixed the disk drive issue. But I may as well pop out these screws now. And now let's switch back to the T10. Take out this last screw from underneath here. There we go. So 8 screws there in total. And then we can lift that off. And disconnect that connector there. So that connector there just connects onto the board here, and that saves us having to disconnect this, which means we haven't got to reline it back up later on. So let's pop that out of the way. And now we can get to the actual disk drive. So we'll take that out. So we're going to be focusing on the disk drive for now. So we'll pop the rest of the console to one side. And there's something loose in there. There's probably a coin or something stuck in it, to be honest with you. So let's swap screwdrivers again. Take a PH0. And we're just going to take out these 4 screws. So there's 2 there, and then just underneath this sticker here, and then again here, and this is going to give us access to the actual disk drive. There we go. Right, so let's try and figure out, there we go. 20 pence. So there's part of the battle of getting my money back. I got 20 pence. Cool. Right, so that's probably going to be what's stopping it from taking in discs, to be honest, because these Xbox One drives very rarely go wrong, and I'm not going to get that out without disassembling the entire thing. Lovely. Right, so let's start disassembling this disk drive completely. So there's a screw here, which we've switched to a PH00 to get that screw out. There's one here. And there's one just there. So that's the only screws for the board. And then we can lift up these connectors. And pop them off. It's that simple. I repeat, it's that simple. Okay, so now we can lift up the disk drive board, And the only thing that's holding this on now is 2 solder points for the motor itself. Okay, so now we need to lift off this entire laser mechanism. So what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew the screws, and there's 1 here and then there's 2 here, and this is holding the mechanism in. And these are a little bit tricky to get out, so I just use a pair of tweezers to grab them. There we go. And then we can just lift off this plate by sliding it forward. Just like so. And then you see there's 20p stuck in the disk drive. That is probably going to be all that is wrong with this console. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the rollers off anyway. So I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to soak it in isopropyl alcohol. And I'm just going to clean off these rollers. They are quite dusty, and dust will stop these rollers from working properly. It also has a chance of scratching up a disc. So we'll clean off those rollers as best we can without having to disassemble the entire drive. Same for this side. Just going to clean the rollers, and this isopropyl alcohol will evaporate itself. It's not going to be a big deal leaving it on there. It will evaporate itself within about 2 minutes. Let's just clean around there. There we go. So that's nice and clean now. And this is probably going to be a very short video, to be honest. But let's pop that back in position. If we can. These are a little bit fiddly. There we go. So they can be quite fiddly, but they're not too bad. Okay, so let's screw this back down. Good. Let's pop the motherboard back on. And just for the record, this board is what you do need to take out if you do ever swap your disk drive. If you don't have any soldering skills, the easiest way to do it is just to lift it up and then change out the mechanism itself. But if you do have soldering skills, even just basic, you'll be able to solder those 2 connectors or those 2 pads to actually lift the board off completely. Okay, so there's the hardest ribbon back in. Now I've got a bit of an itchy nose now because of the dust. I need some sort of a filtration system in here, and when I rebuild the workshop, that will be priority number 1. Okay, one more ribbon. Good. Now we're going to take these 3 screws. There we go. And now we can put the cover back on. So the cover goes on with the foam towards the front of the disk drive. It's just an anti-vibration foam to stop any vibrations from affecting the performance of the disk. So we're going to screw those back in. Awesome. Right. So before we actually put that back on, let's just get that dust off there. So I'm just going to brush it down with a paintbrush. There we go. And the same for the actual disk drive itself. So the good thing is about these disk drives, if no dust ever gets inside, or hardly any dust gets inside the actual disk drive, these can run for years without needing cleaning. There we go. Okay, so now we can pop. Might help if this was the right way around, but we can pop that back on there like that, and then that's ready to go back into the console. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test it first before I sit here and clean it. So I'm going to test the disk drive, just make sure that it works. And also make sure that it actually reads a disk. So let's pop that back into its proper position. There we go. And I'm not going to put it back together. I'm just going to take the power supply. And a HDMI lead. And to be able to turn this on, we need at least this front panel here. So I'm just going to unclip that from the main housing. Okay. Okay, so the console, when I plugged that in, has turned itself on, which is normal. And then I've just turned it off again. Okay. Right, so the console's gone into 480p, but that's just my HDMI lead playing up. I need to get a new one. I've actually got a new one, but I just haven't had a chance to swap it. Right, so let's get a disk, shall we? So this is loading up into the dashboard now. So let's pop a disk in. And it's still struggled a little bit. That went in that time. Might just take a little while just for the rollers to get used to moving again. But that disc is spinning, and there we go. So project cars, as you saw me insert, is now installing. So that's working absolutely fine, beautiful. And we even got 20 pence. Bonus. So I paid £39.80 for this console. Yep, that's installing fine. Yep, that's taking in disc nicely now. Just going to work those rollers in a little bit. And that's working fine. So I'm happy with that. So now all that's really left to do is to give this console a little clean. Make sure that it doesn't overheat when I do end up selling it, because I don't want this console coming back for overheating. Yeah, let's just pop that to one side again for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop it out of the plastic housing, because all of the screws have already been taken out. Let's pop the housing to one side for a minute. And I'm going to take off this front panel and then remove the disk drive again. And the hard drive. And I'm also going to take out these black connectors. Right, so let's change screwdrivers. To a T8. And remove this little screw just here. Fairly simple. There we go. And then we can sit here and remove these screws. A little bit of persuasion there to get that board out. But let's flip it over. And we're going to remove this clamp. So all I do for this, take a flat screwdriver. Ooh. That's why I put my finger there, ladies and gents. Ow. Yeah, that's exactly why I put my finger there. Let me put a glove on. So sometimes you slip with these screwdrivers and it can do some damage to the board, which is the exact reason why I put my finger there, because we don't want to be cutting through these traces here. That is for darn certain. There we go. So now we can flip it back over. And lift that off, and you'll see why I'm taking this off, because this is all dry and crusty. So it's going to need changing. So I'll pop the heatsink to one side for now. First of all, we're going to clean the APU off. Okay, so that doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get the old thermal paste off the main chip. We don't really have to worry about these transistors here because these are not what we're trying to keep cool. So let's do the same for the heatsink. Let's get all of this old crusty paste off. There we go. So that's nice and clean. So all that's left to do now is to clean the actual heatsink. So the way I like to do this is to take a flat screwdriver and just pry up on the clips. And I'm going to take a pair of tweezers and just pop it underneath the clip. Just to stop that clip from pushing back down. While I do the other side. There we go. And that comes apart just like so. For the heatsink, I'm just going to brush all of the fins and make sure there's no dust around it. Just using an ordinary cheap paintbrush. That's the easiest way that I do it. There we go. That's nice and shiny. So now I'm going to do the fan exactly the same. I'm going to brush inside all of the fins, get all of that dust out, make it nice and clean. Of course I do have to do this outside because I don't want dust flying around everywhere. It does get up my nose and stuff. So I'll just do it hanging out of the door, and that stops it from flying around the workshop. And there we go. So that's that. So we're going to pop this back on in a minute because we need to know the orientation. So we'll pop that to one side. And I'm just going to do the same with the motherboard. Give it a little brush down, get rid of any dust on the board itself, and inside all of these ports as well. There we go. That's nice and clean. Last component to clean, going to be the hard drive. Just a little brush down, and that'll be good to go. We're done. So every component that's removable has been cleaned. Next thing to do is going to be to put some fresh thermal paste on and then clamp the heatsink back down. So I'll take some thermal paste and just apply a nice even amount. That should be plenty. And now we're going to take the heatsink. So let's pop the heatsink back on there. And the overhang covers the power regulation area. And then we're going to get the clamp. And pop that back on. There we go. Firmly clamped into position. A little bit of dust left over there that I missed. Excellent. So let's take the fan and I'm just going to align the grooves. And that's back on there. Make sure it's clipped in so we don't forget. And then I can pop that to one side while I clean out the chassis. So again, same with this, just going to give it a brush down, get rid of all of that dust, and make sure that it's got enough room to breathe. Beautiful. Right, so let's pop this back in. Just like so. Let's take that plastic connector. Screw that back in. To pop in the hard drive. And the disk drive. Right, so I'm going to flip this round a minute, holding the components as I go along. There we go. So let's flip it back around. Pop these back into place. Pop these chassis screw guides in. And now we're ready for the top frame. So I'm just going to give this a clean as well, just make it nice and shiny. There we go. Nice and clean. There we go, nice and clean. Put that connector back in. And then pop the top on. Connect those up. Not sure why I've still got that glove on. So I'm going to clean the plastics as well. Beautiful. So let's pop that back in there. And now I'm going to pop these screws back in. Okay, Wi-Fi module. Again, clean it. Just a little brush down. Let's pop on the antenna. Swap back to the T8. There we go. Touch panel. Right, so I realised you couldn't see there. So the easiest way I've found to put these on is to take the front panel off and then connect it up with the ribbon, and then you can just pop it into place like so. And that will allow you to get the connector on without having to struggle with putting your hand behind the case to get it in. Final thing is going to be the top. I'm just going to clean out this vent here. And then this is ready to go back on. So I'm just going to pop that over. I'm going to pull this out slightly. I'm going to clip this on by pushing down on it. There we go. And then just push that into position, locking it in place, and that is back together perfectly. So now we're going to put the sync button guide back on, just like so. And then finally, the last thing to do, give this little air vent a clean. Pop that back on like so. And we're done. So the console's fully reassembled. It's had a nice clean out. The disk drive has been repaired. Let's just do one final check, make sure it all comes on. So turn it on. And there we go. So the reason that this is in 480p is because my HDMI lead. I can reset that by setting it manually. So I'm just going to plug a USB into the side panel. Let's go to the settings. Set it to 1080p, and there we go. Beautiful. So this is all working. Let's just pop a disc in for the final time. So let's pop Project Cars in again, which is the one we used earlier. And I'm sure you heard that on the microphone. That sucked in very nicely indeed. And there we go. So that's reading absolutely fine now. It's installing the games. So just to summarise on this, I purchased this for £40 with the original power lead, which was great. It's not very often I actually get the power leads with them, but it would have cost me too much to repair if I had to replace the drive as well. It turned out that there was just a 20p coin stuck in the disc drive, and just by extracting that and giving the rollers a little bit of a clean, we've managed to get this console fully back up and running again. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. I will do my best to get back to you. I do read all comments, I just don't always get to reply. So if you do have any questions or comments, just drop me a message down below and I'll try my hardest to get back to you personally. If you do need a repair organising, look in the description. There's an email address and a link to my Facebook page, and we can organise a mailing repair or a drop off if you're local to me. So hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more trying to fix videos where I try and fix mainly games consoles, but sometimes other things like phones, then hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications to be notified when I do upload. I'm trying really hard to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the year, and if you could subscribe, it would really help out the channel a lot. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and until next time, see you later. Bye for now.